story actually is a story within a story. And I was hired in Newark, New Jersey to have a one-day conflict resolution program with teenagers. And I literally had no idea what to do, because usually I would do 4 or 5 days. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. So thank you. But as I was leaving the house, I received an email from Jose Manuel de Prada. He's a folklorist who is living in South Africa, working in with Bushmen storytellers. And he sent me a story that someone told. And I just read it once and I loved this story. And when I got to this kind of harsh, colorless building where teenagers came reluctantly into a room and sort of sat in racial zones, arms akimbo, until the director of the program came in and took their iPhones, which was as if they were being asked to have their arms amputated. And they sort of looked completely disinterested in me. So I said that I was going to tell them a story and then we could talk about the story. And there was absolutely no response or interest. But I was so moved by this story that had been sent to me, that Jose had heard from a Bushman woman, that I decided just to tell it. And the story was about a farmer and his wife who had a son. They were very poor and they were Bushman people who worked for a white farmer. And often the farmer, who was rather generous, if they had no sleep in the bush and then go to the farmer in the morning. He saw what he thought was a bush growing alongside a small pool of water. So he lay down and leaned against the bush. But it wasn't a bush. It was actually a lion. Well, at this point, all the kids kind of leaned forward and they were saying, "Man, that is stupid. He's going to be killed. That lion's going to eat that boy." And on and on and on. Everyone had a comment. Then I returned to the story. The boy slept. In the middle of the night, the lion woke up. And he was quite surprised that somehow a piece of meat had landed against him. So he took his great paw and steadied the meat against his body so he could eat in the morning after having some water. But the boy woke up first, and he was surprised to see it wasn't a bush, but an animal. And because he had never been out alone before, he mistook this lion for a great dog. So therefore he rubbed his arm and his face against the lion. And the lion was so pleased that he released his paw And when the boy stood up, the lion accompanied him. And they went together to the farmer. And the farmer saw the boy and the lion. So the farmer, recognizing that the lion would not harm the boy, brought the food to the boy and set it carefully in front of him. And the lion lifted up the sack in his mouth. And then the boy, arm on the lion, walked with the food back home. When they got to his house, his mother looked out first, and of course she was startled. But she sensed from the demeanor of the lion and the calm of her son that the lion would do no harm. So she accepted the food from her son. But her husband, whose father had been a great hunter, was furious and afraid. He said to his son, "How could you be such an idiot? This animal may be gentle now because there's food, but a lion will kill you. A lion is a wild beast." And the kids were all going, "Yeah," but some of them were going, "No, man, that lion's okay." As time went on, the father, terrified of the lion and furious, stayed indoors most of the time, terrified. But the lion remained in the farm, in a small outside stall, and hunted, bringing food every day for the family. And the mother grew accustomed to the presence of the lion, and the boy loved this beast. Well, the father soon somewhat forgot about the lion, although he avoided him. And one day, the boy did something that so angered the man that he went outside, and forgetting about the lion, he beat his son mercilessly. And the lion, who loved the boy, attacked him. Now, I was in a neighborhood where there's gangs and violence all the time. And in the story that Jose sent to me, the lion killed the man. But when I looked up, I thought, why should I have more violence than is needed? So I said, the lion maimed the man, and the man left. And then the lion and the boy and the mother lived there together. We talked a little bit about the story, and then the time was up, and they left. And they left the box on the desk filled with their iPhones and iPads and smartphones. And I had to take the box and go running after them. Hey! And they lifted them up, gave me a high five, and left. So when I got back to New York, I wrote to Jose. I said, please tell your friend that this story that she told, that she heard from her ancestors, I told today to teenagers in Newark, New Jersey. And days passed, and I got a letter back from him saying how pleased she was that her ancestors' story had traveled and brought peace to the heart of those children. And that's that. Thank you.